Rolling. All right. Thank you to everyone for attending the Community Foundation's virtual meeting tonight. As always, we appreciate your patience if we have any technical hiccups. A couple of technical items before we get to the content of tonight's meeting. On September 16th, 2021, the Governor of California signed AB 361, suspending certain provisions of the Ralph M. Brown Act in order to allow for local legislative bodies to conduct their meetings telephonically or by other electronic means. To reduce the spread of COVID-19, meetings of the San Bruno Community Foundation's Board of Directors are being conducted electronically. Please know that we want to hear from you. If you are in the audience and you would like to address the board during public comment for items not on this agenda or on any of our agendized items, please use the raise your hand button at the bottom of the Zoom screen. Once you raise your hand, the executive director will see that someone wants to talk and she will let me know that you are waiting. When it is your turn to speak, the executive director will call your name. She will unmute you and you will be given 3 minutes to address the board. If you are joining us by telephone, you may also address the board during public comment by pressing *9, and the executive director will address you and unmute you. You will also be given 3 minutes to address the board, and please note that anyone in attendance may only speak once per agenda item. Let me see. Also note that prior to the meeting, we received, Leslie, any comments or nothing? No emails and no public comments related to the agenda. All board members have received a copy. So let's begin the meeting. I now call the regular meeting of the San Bruno Community Foundation's Board of Directors on January 4th, 2023 to order. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday break. We have a full agenda, so let's get started. Prior to the roll call, Raul, I just want to make a note that Melissa, our president, is having some technical difficulties due to the weather. So I'll be running the meeting, although Melissa will be here and voting. Raul, would you please call the roll?
Absolutely. Board member Irving Torres.
Present.
Board member Supriya Perry.
Present.
Board member Melissa Moreno.
Here.
Treasurer Pac Lin.
Here.
Secretary Raul Gomez is here. Vice President Jim Ruane.
Here.
And President Melissa Natani Jones.
Here.
Thank you.
Our third item is, thank you. Our third item is a public comment. Would any members of the public like to address the board on the topic not on this agenda? Please indicate so by using the raise hand button at the bottom of the Zoom screen. Leslie, are there any raised hands?
I do not see any.
Okay. Item number 4 will be presentations. Tonight, we're going to recognize former San Bruno City Council member Linda Mason for her service to the San Bruno community and her support of the San Bruno Community Foundation. Is Linda with us this evening?
She is coming on right now.
Okay.
There she is.
Great. Tonight, we want to say a thank you to Linda Mason, our former vice mayor, whose term on the San Bruno City Council concluded in December. After serving on the Planning Commission, Linda was elected to the City Council in 2019 and has been a determined and committed member of the council since then. Most notably for the foundation, she has served as one of the council's representatives on the Recreation and Aquatic Center Advisory Committee, alongside me, the mayor, and members of the Planning and Park and Recreation Commissions. Linda, we thank you for your commitment to San Bruno and your desire to make our city with a heart a better place for all of us. It is my pleasure, on behalf of the board, to recognize you, Linda, with a proclamation from the San Bruno Community Foundation. Ask Linda, would you please open the proclamation that was, there it is, open it up. Leslie was kind enough in this weather to drop it by your house. There it is. Linda, from me to you, I just want to say thank you for your years of service. A lot of times we didn't agree on a few things, but that's okay because that's really healthy. And I think because of your participation in the city council, we are a healthier city. So thank you very much from me. Any other members of the board like to make any comments before I read the proclamation? Raul?
Yeah, absolutely. Linda, I just want to thank you for your service and everything that you've given to San Bruno since you joined in 2018-19, whenever we first met. Absolutely appreciate everything, and I wish you the best of luck going forward. Thanks.
Dr. Moreno?
Thank you, Jim. Linda, congratulations. It was a pleasure meeting you at our construction tour, and I hope we stay in touch, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, and thank you so much for your service with the city of San Bruno.
Good. And Melissa Natani Jones?
Hi, thank you so much, Jim. Before I logged off, I just wanted to say a few words and thank Linda for her service to the city of San Bruno. It was a pleasure to serve with you on the RAC committee, and of course, being able to work together just between the San Bruno Community Foundation and the City Council for the city of San Bruno. So I just appreciate our relationship and continuing to serve the people of San Bruno, and good luck in all of your future endeavors.
Good. Anyone else? Irving?
Thank you. Hi, Linda. Just want to say it's just a pleasure, and thank you so much for everything that you've done for, not just to the city, but also to the residents of San Bruno as well. Thank you for everything you've done in terms of just representation, and while it's, you're no longer serving on the council, wishing you the best of luck in your future endeavors, and to continue just being in communication with the city and with the residents and so forth. So thank you once again, Linda, for your service on the council.
Great. Anyone else? Okay. I would like to read the proclamation that Linda has. Whereas Linda Mason served on the San Bruno City Council from 2019 to 2022, and most recently as Vice Mayor, demonstrating tenacity and dedication. Whereas former Vice Mayor Mason's contributions to San Bruno include serving as the chair of the city's San Bruno Planning Commission prior to her election to the City Council. Whereas former Vice Mayor Mason has been a steadfast advocate for San Bruno's small business community, downtown, public schools, and families, with a detailed eye to fiscal accountability and transparency. And whereas former Vice Mayor Mason has been a vital partner to the San Bruno Community Foundation, as it has aimed to fulfill its mission to benefit the San Bruno community as the nonprofit organization created by the city to administer the $70 million in restitution funds resulting from the devastating 2010 gas pipeline explosion in San Bruno's Crestmore neighborhood. And whereas the foundation is particularly grateful for former Vice Mayor Mason's service on the Recreation and Aquatic Center Advisory Committee, providing feedback and insights related to one of the foundation's most significant initiatives, the design and construction of a new recreation and aquatic center in San Bruno City Park to serve the recreational needs of San Bruno's diverse and growing population. And whereas former Vice Mayor Mason's contributions to the city of San Bruno, its residents, and the broader San Bruno community will not be forgotten. Now, therefore, on behalf of the San Bruno Community Foundation's Board of Directors, and this is signed by Melissa Natani Jones, officially recognize Linda Mason and expressed our sincere appreciation for her dedication to the San Bruno community, and wish her and her family the best in all future endeavors. Dated this 24th day of January, 2023. Congratulations.
Thank you, everybody. This is so kind, especially after the many, many questions that I've made of the foundation. I just want to say, first of all, really thank you. I'm honored by this proclamation, and all the questioning that I've made over the years. I'll start by saying none of it is personal to any of you. So I hope when we see each other on the streets, we all say hi to each other. I think what I really see the foundation as is an amazing partner to the city long-term. I think the longevity of the foundation to the city of San Bruno really should outlast many of us here. And the fact that the money that is being right now administered solely by the foundation, and this is one of the reasons I asked the questions around the impacts of the city council's vote on the budget, the impacts on the vote on the officers, et cetera, it really shows me that this is solely the board of directors that is responsible for this money, and that's all of you that are sitting here tonight. The fact that this money is really a result of the debts of our community members almost elevates this to a higher level in my mind than so many other things that have happened in the city that have resulted in funds, whether that be through development fees, whether that be through community benefits packages. I mean, the result of why we're all here at the Community Foundation truly is because of the catastrophe that happened a couple of years ago in this city. And so it's really important that the work that you're all doing continues to represent the community that you're serving in the same way that the city council serves, and that every cent is allotted for, because at the end of the day, 50 years from now, we're going to be able to say that the RAC was a result of community input. Whatever the next project or big project is going to be is a result of community input, because the intent of the funds really were to say, this is what the community of San Bruno needs and this is what it wants. But I just want to thank you again for serving. I think it's a huge responsibility that you all serve. And like I said, it's almost a higher responsibility than many of us because of the way that the money was received to the city. So I will continue to follow what the foundation is doing. Thank you so much for the contribution to the Centennial Park. I think that's going to be a great project, and I look forward to seeing it completed. And I probably will see you all at the RAC opening a year from around now. Stay safe, everyone.
Great. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Leslie, are there any members of the public that would like to comment?
I do not see any raised hands.
Okay, thank you. And thanks again, Linda. We'll move on to item number 5, which is the approval of the minutes of December 7th, 2022, our regular board meeting. Secretary Gomez.
So in your meeting packet, we had our meeting minutes from our December 7th meeting, and want to ask you, do we have any questions from the minutes?
Any questions for our secretary? Okay. If there are no questions or comments, may I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Raul, would you please call the roll?
Absolutely. Board Member Irving Torres,
Aye.
Board Member Supriya Perry,
Aye.
Board Member Melissa Moreno,
Aye.
Treasurer Pat Glenn,
Aye.
Secretary Raul Gomez is an aye, Vice President Jim Ruane,
Aye.
and President Melissa Natani Jones.
Okay, and that's it for me.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I hope the power comes back soon.
Yeah, really. All right, next item is item number 6, our executive director's report. Leslie.
Thank you. I had a full report in the packet. Just in the interest of time today, I'm going to keep this brief. I hope everyone's having a great start to the new year and is staying dry and warm on this crazy day. Just wanted to touch on sort of one main item for the executive director's report today, and that's our 2023 board meeting schedule. As you know, our bylaws have the first Wednesday of the month as our regular meeting. The January and February meetings will continue to be conducted on Zoom, but we anticipate that the governor will rescind the state of emergency at the end of February, which means our March meeting will likely go back to being in person at the senior center. So please plan on our meetings starting with the March 1st meeting being in person at the senior center. I'm still working on the logistics of that with the city and with CityNet services in terms of being able to continue to do it either in hybrid or at a minimum record it on Zoom and being able to post it on our website afterwards. There are some logistical challenges with that as well as costs, and so be working through that and we'll be giving you an update on that, but just wanted to give you a heads up to plan to be physically in person starting with the March meeting. So that's all I have for you this evening. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board? Leslie, any questions from the public?
I do not see any.
All right, on to number 7, consent calendar. We're going to adopt a resolution declaring the continued state of emergency and need for the San Bruno Community Foundation Board of Directors and other foundation legislative bodies, subject to the Ralph M. Brown Act, to continue to teleconference in order to ensure the health and safety of the public pursuant to AB 361. That's item A. And item B is receive and approve treasurer's report, November 2022 financial statements. We have two items on the consent calendar today as listed on the agenda. Are there any questions? Seeing none, I'll call for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll, would you take the roll, please?
Absolutely. Board Member Irving Torres.
Aye.
Board Member Supriya Perry.
Aye.
Board Member Melissa Moreno.
Aye.
Treasurer Pac Lynn.
Aye.
Secretary Raul Gomez is an aye. Vice President Jim Roy.
Aye.
And Melissa Natani Jones is excused.
Great, thank you. Item number 8, conduct of business. We're going to receive a report on the San Bruno Recreation and Aquatic Center from the City of San Bruno. Leslie, you're going to convert Rod and Ann. If they're
Yes, so we are converting Rod in. Ann is actually part of the EOC, which the city tilted up again today with the storm. And so she is not with us. It'll be just Rod.
Okay. So as a member of the Ad Hoc Committee on Recreation and Aquatic Center project, I'll give a brief report from the committee. Melissa and I sit on the city's RAC Advisory Committee, which regularly meets to receive updates from the city on the project. As you know, the foundation is funding the project through a series of 8 grants totaling $50 million, with grant payments being made on a quarterly basis. In November, the foundation made quarterly RAC grant payments totaling $8.3 million. The foundation has paid out a total of $32.4 million in RAC grant payments and has a balance of $17.6 million left to pay. The city will be submitting its next set of RAC grant reports in January, after which the foundation will make payments on the 6 active RAC grants. As you know, the San Bruno Community Foundation Board is receiving quarterly updates from the City of San Bruno on progress on the construction of the Recreation and Aquatic Center project. Tonight, we have a team, actually consisting of one, from the city who will give the presentation. We have Project Manager Rod McArag here, and we are eager to hear the progress the city has made on the RAC since we last heard from him in October. We know there's been a lot of activity at the park lately. So Rod, you're on.
Mute. Turn my video. Okay. Hello, good evening. Great to see everyone again.
See you too. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yes, and hope everyone had a good time or great time over the past holidays, and everyone's safe and dry. So yeah, we'll have some updates tonight. So again, my name is Rod McArag. I'm the project manager. I'll provide you some updates tonight. We have a similar agenda. We'll start with the project information completed to date, schedule update, change order report, budget update, and what's happening the next 30 days and beyond, and other related projects update. That would include the solar PV, Crystal Spring, Oak Street, City Parkway intersection, and some potential paving at Beckner Shelter Road. As you know, we started in September 2021 with considering with the rain delay, we still be expected to complete a fall 2023, maybe mid or late of fall 2023, but we are still within target. Hopefully we can recover some of the rain impact. As of November, we are about 46% complete. We don't have the billing of December yet. We should be close to 50%. The 46% is equivalent to what the contractor can bill us contractually to this date, or to the end of November. The photo below are two photos below are the comparison of what it looks like the last time we reported. One photo taken on September 9 and the other one on December 6. So that last photo is about a month old to show some progress. We have another comparison of photos that was on October 4th taken, and now we have a January 3rd photo taken. You can see the building framing is almost done, all basically done, and we got all the roof decking in. We got the creek and the road realigned and reconstructed. Here's the aerial shots in December. As noted, the creek has been realigned, reconstructed. Utilities under the city parkway has been installed. Road has been reconstructed except the final lip of asphalt, which will be done sometime getting close to the completion of the project so that we don't have to damage it again. Water main at Crystal Spring has been installed as well, and it's now feeding, it's now connected to the main water main, and that's feeding the building at this time. We still have to do the trench restoration at Crystal Spring when we come back to the paving. We made some progress in the building as well. We poured the concrete slabs, gymnasium, first and second floor. We completed the roof trusses, decking, and both gymnasium and natatorium. We'll show you more photos of those work. Let's go back in October, what we got going at that time. As you can see, back in October, we continued to progress in framing and building and installing decking and roofing. So you can see some of those erection work that's going on. While doing that, we're working on the creek realignment, started the road realignment, and water line installation, as you can see, and some bioretention work is happening while we're working on the building. In October, in the building, as you can see, we're working on the gymnasium. You see it's all dirt on the left side, and working on the second floor. We start working on the second floor and got the slab poured. We're working on the classroom area is still on the first floor. By the gymnasium side, we got some vapor barrier installed, got some rebar installed in the gymnasium, and still working on the natatorium. Basically some roof trusses and welding work and structural work in there. While working in the building, water tie-in was performed. This is to bring the water line back at DeSoto Road and Crystal Spring, and allow us to continue the sewer work once we get the temporary or the existing or the temporary water line out. We're able to start working on the sewer line. And while doing that, as soon as we complete that, we got some rain. As you can see, the creek on the upper right photo, our creek got tested with some rain events. It seems to hold well. As soon as we find opportunity, dries up enough, we came back and start working on the curb and gutter, work on the road base, and continued on. In December, we continue working in the building. As you can see, the roof is almost all done. We start working on some plumbing and mechanical on the second floor, as we completed the floor slab already. We have the gymnasium slab all poured as well, and we're starting to work towards the natatorium area with some plumbing work. While working in the building, as you can see, the off-site work is pretty busy, pretty hectic, as we are dealing with rain and trying to get the road open. There's some areas we had to over-excavate and recompact. Then we move on to preparing the road base, ready to get paved, and the paving got done in one day. The following week, we continue to work on installing the temporary lights using the permanent poles and get them tested to make sure it will stay lit. Then continue to work on some temporary striping, some safety stuff in there, and install some temporary fence along the side and to get the road opened up. The last photo on the bottom right, you can see this is taken on December 31st. This is the heaviest rain that we got that year, and it seems to hold pretty well. We actually got about, the designer call it a 50-year rain, 50-year storm. Occurs 2% of the time. So the designer will be coming back to take a look at the area and assess if there's anything else we need to improve. But so far it looks holding well. So we will find out when they come and visit the job site. As we all know, the City Parkway was reopened in the afternoon of December 23, 2022, thanks to the contractor who made it happen, and to the public who for their cooperation and patience. And any future closure will be announced through the changeable message board and to the city website, as we might have some work that may require to accommodate, we may have some work that we need to close the lane to accommodate some of those heavy duty activities, but we will inform public in advance using the changeable message board and the website. Just to recap some of the critical activities that we have completed, on-site work, which is mainly the building. We got the steel framing, roof trusses, roof decking. We started the fire protection, some of the mechanical hangers that you saw on the pictures. Plumbing, we got most of it on the bottom floor except the pool-related plumbing. The concrete floor slab and second floor are all done. Under slab utilities, all done on the gymnasium side. And the concrete slab at the first floor gymnasium is also done. So we're working. There's a lot of areas the contractor can work on now inside the building. As far as offsite, the creek modification, enlargement, and extension has been done. The sewer, water main, and City Parkway at City Parkway has been done as well. Water main at Crystal Spring has been done. It's all tied up to the city main. We removed the water bypass, the temporary water bypass that we put in the beginning of the project. Storm drain system at the City Parkway is also installed, part of the underneath the City Parkway. And of course, obviously the City Parkway reconstruction has been done and City Parkway has been reopened. Schedule update. As I mentioned, most of the offsite related area has been completed, except the parking lot that we will continue to work on through the winter months. Rain impacted our schedule a little bit, maybe a few weeks, that we hope we can recover through the months. The construction crew will be focusing on working inside the building, mainly in the gymnasium side, and work on the pool side once the overhead work are done on that side. Just going through these activities, on 1A will be clearing the site just to basically winterize the area. On 1B, which is the pool, we'll focus on the overhead work before we dig the pool. 1C, which is the building, will be working on the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, exterior sheeting, and roofing anytime we have the opportunity or a break from the weather. 2A, 2B, 2C, which is mainly City Parkway, Crystal Spring, they're all done, except we have to come back to do some landscaping, the final lip of asphalt at City Parkway, and trench restoration at Crystal Springs. So as you can see, some of that small activities that has to happen sometime in spring. And number 4, it's the parking lot. We're gonna try to work through that through the winter, clear some areas so we could start working on the truss enclosure, generator, and gas and electric work that we have to put in. There'll be a lot of work inside the building and exterior whenever there is opportunity. Public outreach. So public website, project website is regularly updated so people can see what's the next activity. Portable changeable message boards will be used for future road closure. Detour signs will be placed as needed. We'll continue to communicate with Google navigation system as needed when we have some closure. Field contact numbers are available on all project signs and city website. Daily on-site representative is available at the trailer office. Calls and emails are being answered and addressed. Just to let you know, the closure is not a prolonged closure. The closure may just take during the day if needed, just to accommodate some of the activities, but we have to inform people of those closures. Change order report. We have an approved change order to date of $1,675,402 and change. We completed 1,372,414 and change of that work. 35.72% is unforeseen, 56.29% resolutions of discrepancies, 9.32% is public safety and convenience related, and less than 1% is owner requests and some value engineering credit costs. As you all know, unforeseen and unknown is mostly disposal of the contaminated soil that we continue to encounter on new excavation. Contaminated soil had to be disposed in class 2 dump due to the presence of high level of petroleum and pesticides. The public safety are some of the tree removal that we did earlier, some additional sidewalk at DeSoto, and disposal of some hazardous concrete that we discovered early going in the project. 56.29% is coming from RFI, or request for information, as we piece together the design intent, considering constructability and maintainability of the building to include mechanical, plumbing, electrical, foundation system, etc. Changes and additions and adjustment had to be implemented to accommodate changes to meet codes and latest seismic load requirements. Project budget update. We're still operating within the approved City Council budget of $60,540,228,000. We spent to date $30,595,24.30. That's about half of the project budget. Included in that is the contractor's billing, some of the consultant invoices and fees that was submitted and approved to date. That was recommended for payment. The total pre-construction and construction phase expenses to date is $23,824,640.30. The approved budget in this presentation is broken down into 3 categories. So you can see we have soft costs, construction costs, and the project contingency. Blue represent the pre-construction phase expenses. You can see only occurred on the project soft costs. And orange is the construction phase expenses that's happening on 3 columns. And green is the remaining balances for each column. Soft costs included design fees, project management fees, construction management, permit fees, environmental services, and other project-related tasks and projects costs, which are about 68%. The 68% is the combination of the 19% and 48.84%. So that's been spent under soft costs. And most of it is coming from the pre-construction costs before that included the design and the pre-study of the project. So construction phase soft cost is about 19% spent to date. That's and the construction expenses hard cost is at 46% spent. That's about how we measure our progress. And the project contingency costs is spent at 38.42%. So we still have a balance of 61.58% in our contingency. That's still a healthy balance to this time. So we're hoping to complete the project within the budget unless some circumstances arises that we can't control. So what's happening the next 30 days and beyond? On the on-site work or the building side, we'll continue to clear the site. We'll focus on the overhead work at natatorium before digging the pool. In the building, we'll have some mechanical, electrical, plumbing, exterior sheeting, and roofing. We're looking forward to cover the building the next couple months, so we could do a lot more work inside the building. This is the overview of the entire project on-site and off-site. While working on the building, the crew will work on the stormwater management, bioretention, truss enclosures, and generator, and work on landscaping by spring. You might see some of the 2 pedestrian bridges in this project be installed sometimes in the next 2 months or 3 months, or by spring. Other related projects update. The building is designed to, as you know, the building was designed and constructed to receive solar PV panels And this would be funded through a PPA agreement, power purchase agreement with Peninsula Clean Energy, that the council adopted the resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into the PPA with PCE. At this time, PCE has executed the contract with their equipment providers. The draft PPA was reviewed, resubmitted back to the city for final review and execution. Hopefully gets that accomplished this month. And once the agreement is found by the city acceptable, we look to coordinate the construction sometime in February or March timeframe. The traffic signal, the City Parkway and Crystal Spring. The designer is finalizing the design. We hope to advertise the project for bid in March of 2023, award construction by May of 2023, and begin construction of July 2023. This is so hopefully we could align the completion of this project with the RAC project. The last slide is just some under the other projects that we want to give the foundation an update. These are not related to the RAC project, but it's important to consider completing this work while the RAC is in progress. Per our meeting with the city manager and public works director, we are considering to rehab Beckner Shelter Road. As you can see, photo number 2, it's in poor condition. We'd like to upgrade the path and ramp to picnic area. That's on photo number 1, to make it ADA standard. We're considering replacing the existing pedestrian bridge to meet the ADA standard as well. This is the bridge that connects the RAC and the pool parking lot that's shown on picture number 3. In addition, we would like to replace that sidewalk that connects the Lara parking lot and City Parkway. As you can see how narrow it is at this time. So to make it ADA standard as well. The total estimated cost to construct all of this work is about $800,000. There's a budget to rehabilitate the Beckner Shelter Road from Measure G, but not all of the project listed here. The RAC project contingency can be used to fund the sidewalk work, or we could phase or prioritize these projects to construct the work with the available funds this year, and consider the rest of it if there's more funds coming up in the following year. The work can be bid out for low bids or add this work as a change order to the RAC to expedite the process. Again, this is just a heads up, and we will provide more detailed updates once funding sources are identified. This is the end of our presentation, and thank you for your time.
Good. Any questions from the board for Rod? Leslie, anything from the public?
I had a question, Jim.
Irving, sorry, go ahead.
No worries. Thanks, Rod, for this update. You mentioned that the rain had impacted, I guess, the timeline for a couple weeks. When you mean by the rain, do you mean the 31st and today, or is it also considering all the potential rain that's coming in the next couple of days and so?
The rain started, we got hit by the rain since November. So we have been slowing down and trying to fight through it. There are some impact to the schedule that we're trying to identify. We got held up on City Parkway. As you can see, we tried to open the road. We were late by 2 weeks there at least. Now this December, we got a couple more weeks of rain that's gonna hit us. So we're working on our schedule. We're trying to come up with a recovery schedule, see if we can recover some of that time.
Great. And then I guess this is more of a question to the board about the potential of that $800,000. If it comes about that, would we have a discussion about, I guess, when we approved the RAC funds, did that incorporate this other kind of sidewalk amenities that were adjacent to the RAC? I guess that's my question.
If I may chime in, and Rod he mentioned it earlier, the city has a $5+ million contingency on top of the $50 million and they're not close to using all of that, number one. And number two, that we had budgeted some other funds if necessary for the future. We haven't even, touched those things. So I think in the bigger picture, my feeling is, some people in the beginning said, let's do one pool now, one pool later. I said, no, you'll never get it done. You got to do everything right the first time. And my feeling is if it's $800,000 and the contingency is there, it's up to the city council, of course. I mean, get it all done at the same time. Don't try to do it at a later date because something else will come up and it'll never get done. And you don't want to have to regroup your construction crews and everything to get it done. I mean, get it done while you're there. That's just my feeling. But there's already funds there, and I think Rod made it pretty clear that he doesn't feel we're going to be using all that contingency. So what the city council wants to do with that, that's up to them. But I think that in the bigger picture, it's not like we're going to be scrambling. So.
Great. And I guess that would just then be a follow-up then. I know part of the presentation was focused on like the development and the construction of this rack. And I know in the past I talked about what specifically amenities are going to be included within the rack in terms of like laundry and et cetera. And the reason why I'm raising that, I guess, information is because when I looked at like the presentation about wheelchair accessibility for ADA, I'm just curious that when the rack is open, if it's going to include amenities such as like wayfinding signage for other members of our disability community who are deaf or blind. So I just wanted to know if that was going to be incorporated as part of this construction. And then if not, can that pool of the contingency be allocated towards that? And I guess that's a question to Rod or maybe to the city as it gets underway. And so
we had pretty extensive discussions. This is before you were on the foundation regarding signage and wayfinding and all that kind of stuff. So I think the architect could probably address that, but I believe it's all been researched and addressed and incorporated into the construction. Rod, any comment?
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Jim. That's been looked at, and we will definitely be looking at that within the project limit. All the ADA standard has to be met, otherwise it won't be approved. It's not going to be bid out. The building department will not allow that to happen. So.
Right.
Great. Thanks for your clarification.
Good. Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay. Leslie?
We have Raul and Pac both have their hands raised.
Oh, I'm sorry, Raul. Go ahead.
That's right, Jim. Thank you. Rodrigo, I just wanted to thank you for a great presentation. It was very fascinating. I love looking at all the pictures and the progression. It was really amazing just to watch. I guess my favorite slide, by the way, was the one that showed that we're more than halfway done, which is very exciting to see that this time next year we will we should actually have our rack up and running. So congratulations for that. But I do have a couple comments, questions, and that is, first thing, congratulations on the creek. I actually have been monitoring that very closely in the sense that I'm born and raised in San Bruno. I've seen it swell to 8 to 10, 12 feet and was very happy to see that it passed the stress test. I've never seen it rain like this before in San Bruno, and happy to see that that the creek actually was able to move the water from A to B. So congratulations on that. But one question with the creek, and that is right now it's actually all rock. Will it actually be paved once it's done, or is it going to be in the same fashion or style that it is now?
It will remain rock to make it look natural and everything. So it's not going to be back to paved creek like before. So there will be some landscaping on the side of the creek by spring.
Okay, because I'm just kind of concerned that there might be, a child that might be walking towards the creek, like in the summertime. I would just hate to see them fall into the creek and onto a jagged rock. So just wanting to point out that I don't know, it might be a safety concern that you might want to look into. Would again hate to see any kind of accidents occur near or around the creek, especially when it gets wet and slippery, if you will. Can get quite dangerous. And The second thing I want to say is, and it's just a observation, and that is thank you again for delivering City Parkway for Christmas. So that was a nice Christmas present that San Bruno residents got, was to be able to drive through the park again. So thank you for that. But I just wanted to ask the question again: is that the final form of the actual City Parkway? Because some of the observations that I've seen and a couple others have made is that it's quite narrow when you're driving through. So just want to see, is that the final form, or is it going to be modified in any way in its final version?
As far as the width, that is the final width. Although it feels narrow because it's designed that way to make as you can see, it's getting close to traffic signal. It's designed to slow down traffic as they cross the rack, because you're going to be expecting a lot of pedestrians coming from the park, crossing the bridge to the building. So that was meant to be narrow on that turn to slow down the traffic going past the building. Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, again, thank you so much again for the excellent update and all the great work that you and your team are doing. Again, great project and excited to see your next presentation. Thank you.
Back.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. First, I want to say thank you, Rod, for the amazing presentation. I always enjoyed your presentation, especially the visualization, like slide 14 on the project process and where, for example, activity number 3 with the crystal spraying, that in Q2 of 2023, there's another element to it. And it really depicts the entire project. And to be honest, I actually stole a couple of your slides and shared it with my public works director, because especially when it talks about in a prior presentation where you shared the difference between project manager and construction manager in the different phases, it was very informative. So I want to first and foremost say thank you for the presentation. I do have a couple of questions regarding slide number 17, largely just maybe as more for maybe it's something that's been discussed and I just wanted to understand. First is regarding the project contingency that is here that says 38% is construction and the remaining is 62%. Based on the scale of this project, do you think we're kind of on track of what a typical change order project contingency burn rate is?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Pak. So yeah, appreciate all the comments you guys given me. So that's, my team will get that comment. So yes, yes, the 62% is what's the remaining balance. Is that typical? I think that's pretty good. You can see the burn rate compared to the progress of the construction. If our burn rate on contingency is moving faster than the progress of the work, we might have some problem. So that's how I gauge it. I keep a tab on those progress points.
Okay, great. And then under the project soft costs, where it says the 48% for in the blue section, does that include, well, actually it's the 19% in the orange. Is that the project like construction management soft costs, or and where would also like the project closeout fall into your 3 wonderful columns?
Yeah, closeout will be on the mainly the soft costs are all the consultant fees, all the other fees related to the project. That could be PG&E, it could be that this also will include the traffic signal project as part of the soft cost. So the 19% to this date are mainly expenses by all the consultant. We have Griffin, who is the construction manager. We have G4, who is the design, Consor, which is us, the project management. We have some testing companies. We have some fees being charged in there as well. So from different agencies that we have to pay in the process. So that's what the 90% composed of. Yeah.
Great. Once again, thank you for the slides. I might steal some more for my own presentation. So thank you.
You're more than welcome.
Great, thank you. Just 2 quick comments, Raul. You made 2 comments about how you felt the City Parkway, or some people did. I got the same comments, not complaints, but that was narrow. But the one thing I noticed when I drove through people are going a lot slower just because of that. And then the rock drainage thing, a lot of that was mandated by the Army Corps of Engineers. What they wanted was the permeability, which did not exist before with just the concrete and asphalt. Everything went to the bay. Now we're recharging our own aquifer, which is the permeability of those rocks and the substrate goes down under instead of actually going all to the bay, and we're wasting all that water. So that was their theory, and that had to be designed that way so they would sign off on it. So I think if Rod has any comments on that, I think that's what happened.
That's exactly right. Thank you for that explanation, Jim. So that's the reason, as you remember, the creek, we're not supposed to completely tear them all out from within that limit. And the Army Corps actually did emphasize is and encourage us to extend all of it to the storm drain, to the road, if you could remember. That's about 180 feet that we added on this project to make it all uniform and maintained the same way. So, and that's for that reason, as Jim explained.
Okay, any other comments from the board? Leslie, anything from the public?
I don't see any hands raised from the public.
Okay. Anne was tied up with the EOC tonight for obvious reasons, so maybe we can get her next meeting and she can give us an update on the plans to actually manage the rack once it's open. I know they've done a lot of work on it. So
We will be getting the full implementation plan presentation at our March meeting.
okay, that's great. Thank you. Okay, our next item is B, receive report on other programs, Crestmore Scholarship, Community Grants Fund, other strategic grants.
Thank you. I have my written report in the packet, which I won't completely reiterate for you here, but just want to give some of the highlights. First, on the Crestmore Scholarship, that launched in December. The 2023 iteration, the online application went live on December 5th, and we started sort of distributing all of our marketing materials to area schools and community colleges, as well as to stores around town. We do have students, I think over 20 students have started the application online, which is actually pretty good at this point. They have to register first, so we know that they've at least started the process. And it allows us then to also follow up with them and to sort of nudge them along to get their applications done in a timely fashion. Jessica is in the process of scheduling both in-person and virtual workshops for applicants to help them with the process and educate them on the process. And those will happen at the end of January and the beginning of February. And the application deadline is March 7th, 2023. It's always the first Tuesday of the month in March. So we are looking forward to that. On the Community Grants Fund front, as you know, at the last meeting, the board approved 23 grants totaling $300,000. We did get a press release out on that in December, and with the assistance of our nonprofit council, the Neo Law Group, we've been in the process of, we drafted the grant agreements and we're now going back and forth with the grantees to get those executed as quickly as possible. Jessica is setting up check presentations and we'll be in touch with the board to staff those presentations for us and represent us at them. Usually it'll be at board or committee meetings of the grantees. We think that most will still be virtual this time around, but some may be in person, and we will be in touch with you to see which ones you all can participate. And we think it's a great opportunity for you all to, really connect with our grantees and hear from them directly about their work. So we hope that everyone will be able to participate in at least a couple of those. And the first ones, I think, will start sort of the third week of January. So we're going to be getting out later this week the first list of probably 3 or 4 of them that are getting teed up. So please be on the lookout for that. In terms of the Centennial Plaza and Community Day grants, we have executed those with the city, the grant agreements. The Community Day grant, that payment happens after the event once the city has accounted for all of its expenditures for that event. And for Centennial Plaza, which is a larger grant, we are structuring it very similar to the RAC grants, where we will get quarterly reports from the city, and then we will pay out quarterly grant payments based on those reports from the city. So that's how that will work with those. So it won't just be a single payment of $500,000. It will be done on a quarterly basis, probably over about a year, at least a year's time. And that's where we are with all of those outstanding programs. Any
Thank you,
questions
Leslie.
from the
Any
board?
questions or comments from the board for Leslie? Okay, anything from the public, Leslie?
Do not see any hands raised.
Okay, that's great. At this point in time, we would have gone into our study session, diversity, equity, and inclusion training led by Jana Kaiser and Bella Bassin of Libertiva. But because of some weather-related impacts, we're going to postpone that diversity, equity, and inclusion training and study session until a future meeting. And we check with our the foundation attorney. And per the Brown Act, we're allowed to do that. So we'll hold off on that till future meeting. Let's see, board member comments, item number 10. Any board member comments?
Through the chair, Mr. Vice President. The only, I guess, comment I had was I know we're the San Bruno Community Foundation. And I know with the recent impacts and of the storm and everything, is there like any way that we're putting up on social media just to, if residents in San Bruno have any questions or resharing like the city of San Bruno, like their posts on just like what residents can do in case of a natural disaster like the storms and so forth. So I'm just curious if that's going to be part of, at least reposting maybe some information there, just because while, we do have viewers that listen to our meetings, it's just important that we try to reach out to as many residents of San Bruno as possible. I think the foundation, we're ambassadors, and I know we're doing our part, but it'd be great if we're also doing that like through social media, through our pages and so forth.
Any comment, Leslie?
Yeah, we aren't actively doing that, but we can easily retweet and repost the city's posts.
Right. Great. Anything else from the board? Can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Motion in a second. I don't believe we need a roll call. Is that correct?
Nope.
All right. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Good night. Stay
Thank
safe.
you. Stay
Happy New
safe.
Year. Stay dry.
Take care.